lay at your feet.
Hi, I'm Eric Kneifel. I've been leading worship for about 15 to 20 years at various churches throughout Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado. And just my heart is to lead church and worship, just not even within music, but outside of music, throughout daily devotions, throughout daily lifestyle. There was a mentor of mine, basically our junior high pastor, back when I was in junior high, played guitar, and I admired him for that, and I wanted to learn a guitar just because he played. And so I started playing guitar, and he kind of nudged me straight into the worship team and said, "Hey, why don't you start playing?" And I was like, well, I can't play that well. And so it was about maybe 4 or 5 times in playing with the worship team. He's like, "Why don't you sing a song?" I'm like, "I don't sing." And so it's kind of this progressive thing where he just kind of kept nudging me along. And it was really because of that pushing that I became a worship leader. I didn't want to do it out of my own heart by any means. And sure enough, the first many times when I was doing it were horrible. A lot of stopping in the middle of songs. "Oh, sorry, made a mistake. Let's start again." But that was leading with the youth band and youth group, and so we're very forgiving, fortunately. Yeah, I mean, I think my parents are, huge, support roles, for my life and my journey. Throughout the years, they always kind of encouraged me through everything I was doing and leading worship in different churches, and they just kept kind of encouraging me in that journey. They don't really have any musical background at all, so as far as moving into the worship realm, they didn't really know what input to provide other than just spiritual leadership in our household. So my dad was always great with that, kind of praying for me and with me. I think a mentor is really important in everybody's lives, especially for teens and adolescents, because if you don't have somebody challenging you on your worldviews, you're going to be in the same bubble for your whole life. So I think it's really important to find somebody to kind of poke and prod and challenge you and challenge your theology, really, even too, and kind of just figure out who you are in Christ and who you stand for in the world. So
You ruin my filthy heart and make me pure.
My wife and I both lead a couples small group. She leads the women's Bible study. I lead the men's Bible study as well. And so, like I said earlier, I feel like it goes way, way, way beyond worship in a musical setting on a Sunday morning service. And so kind of where we are right now is really being able to pour into people and kind of help lead others in that type of a setting. There's so much scripture that talks about worship being our lifestyle to the Lord. And there's a lot of scripture talking about worship also being the musical aspect and singing praises to Him and coming together as a congregation to do so. And so I think in a congregational setting on a Sunday morning service or whenever people might be a part of their church body, or even maybe it's a home church, I don't know. I think that's a huge important role, is in some musical setting, lifting up praise and worship to our God. That's a huge part of us being here on earth. Church has a huge responsibility to worship Him and then carry that into the world for other people to see that worship and adoration of Him.
We'd be playing out those hymns.
I released that EP a little bit earlier this year, and really exciting. I got great response from a lot of different people and had a couple thousand downloads and a lot of, I have close to 20,000 listens on Spotify to one of the songs, which is kind of crazy to look at. I'm like, where are all these people coming from? Because I'm just this little nobody guy who writes these songs and puts it on EP, and so it's kind of cool to see how the Lord just kind of took that and said, some of these songs are going to speak to people. And so right now I've actually been working on kind of honing down a list of songs, and I've started the recording process for another album coming up. So I don't have a real time frame yet on release dates or anything, because it's kind of an organic effort of kind of bouncing off ideas of some other musicians in the area and kind of getting their thoughts. And, so it's not quite a record label, here's this date, and then we're going to move on to this date. And it's kind of more of a, let's feel this out and see how this kind of comes together.
Tell me how to love.
I really want to encourage everybody just to find a mentor in your life. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest ways any of us grows. And you look at Jesus and his disciples, they really grew from that model. Like, he mentored those disciples, and they went from there, and then they mentored people. And so really, it's this vision of leading making disciples. I used to think of, the Great Commission of, okay, walk out from here and go make a disciple, go lead somebody into the Lord and teach them about Jesus. And it's like, great, I can do that, but it's like, but teaching everything I have commanded you, which includes the Great Commission. So it's like we should be discipling somebody to become a disciple who's leading somebody else in the Lord as well. My closing note and encouragement for anybody listening is, find somebody you trust and help sharpen each other. Have them speak in your life.
You spent your whole life singing to Jesus, now to meet him face to face. When I see